right? What's our excuse? We can't go through life thinking that hard things aren't going to happen, challenges aren't going to happen. We still have to go after our grandest vision, the highest, grandest vision of our life. And the reason why I listened to that video, because that word solitude that was in the title came out, because I think that's what a lot of us are missing. We're missing that quiet time to design who we are, or develop who we are, so we can go after the life that we want. And it takes that solitude, that stepping away for a little bit. How often do we give ourselves 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day to just be silent, to just be quiet, to just be alone, to have no distractions, to have no TV, to have no cell phone? The guy in there was talking about journaling. He mentioned journaling. He said, most people don't get past the 15th minute. Have you ever sat down to journal for an hour? Have you ever sat down just with you and your thoughts for a full hour? It's a lot. It's really tough. But think about how fast our life is moving. We should be able to slow down and take an hour with just our thoughts. Get 24 hours in the day. Can't take an hour with your thoughts. Can't take 30 minutes with your thoughts. It's important. It's important. And so in our text, there was one that I was going to read, because one of them literally says, champions seek solitude, right? Champions seek solitude. So just know that is a trait of being successful. That is a trait of getting to the life you want, is you have to find a way to break away and get some silence, get some solitude in your life. Yes, we are meant to be around people, and we're meant to fellowship, and we're meant to have meaning and fulfillment. And a lot of that comes with service and helping people, but we have to be able to take a step back and say, let me slow down before I speed up. Our lives move very quickly. Our lives don't give us a break to slow down. So you have to intentionally say, I'm going to slow myself down, and I'm going to spend some time in solitude. I'm going to spend some time just with myself. And what all this leads to is you becoming better, which leads to happiness. Happiness is a state of your heart. Number 67 in the book says the world class achieves happiness from being and becoming, not acquiring and possessing. This is important. It's important to understand, because we think happiness a lot of times comes from what we acquire, what we possess, what we have. But really it comes from who we are and who we become and what we give. Here's what it says. While average people are on a psychological manhunt for happiness, the world-class ranks recognize that happiness cannot be pursued directly. The great ones know happiness is a byproduct of living life to the fullest. The pros forget chasing happiness and turn their attention to fulfilling the vision they have carefully constructed. Happiness eludes the masses because they haven't invested the time and energy to study the animal. The masses repeatedly attempt to create happiness from the outside in, whereas the great ones know sustained happiness stems from being and becoming, not acquiring and possessing. Average people have mastered short-term happiness, easily gained through instant gratification mechanisms such as eating, spending money, and engaging in pleasurable activity. The world class invests a substantial amount of time ensuring their future happiness by creating congruency between who they are, what they're doing, and where they're going. Champions are masters at doing such things as marrying the right person, selecting jobs they love, and building friendships with people they admire and respect. As a result, they indirectly develop an incredible sense of gratitude and happiness. Big key points in here. The world class invests substantial amount of time ensuring their future happiness by creating congruency between who they are, what they're doing, and where they're going. Congruency. I forget the guy's name. That's like the monk guy we saw in there, but he said something about harmony of the mind, body, and soul, right? Harmony of the mind, body, and soul. Also, same word, congruency, harmony, congruency, alignment. All of these things being the same. So are you congruent in who you are, what you're doing, and where you're going? That's how we tap into ourselves. This is the time. This is why we need the quiet, still time. This is why we need to hear that quiet voice. This is why we need to spend time with ourselves, because we need to evaluate these things. Your family, your children, your spouse, your coworkers, the people around you are not going to tell you who you are, what you're doing, and where you're going. Only you can figure that out. And what And what David Goggins said at the end of that video is you got to learn to just help you, right? You got to learn that no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to help you. So you got to start here by saying, okay, who am I, right? Take some time. That's where journaling comes in. That's where you being in meditation, you being in devotion, you being in prayer, that's where all of that comes in, because you now can spend time sitting with yourself and energy saying, who am I? Who am I? Right? Who am I? Who is this person? Wednesday, we talked about values. We talked about integrity, right? We talked about some of those core values, those things of character, right? Or maybe that was Monday. I don't remember, right? These days, every day just blends in. But either way, knowing who you are, understanding your character, your integrity, those things, you got to sit with yourself. And then we got to evaluate what we're doing. What are our actions on a day-to-day basis? What's our mindset on a day-to-day basis? Where are we spending our time? Where's our focus on a day-to-day basis? What are we doing? And then we have to know where we're going. Where are we headed? What's that ultimate dream for you? What's that grand vision? Hopefully, none of you have stopped dreaming. Hopefully, all of you still have dreams and things that you want to get to and things you want to see with your eyes and things that you want to make happen. Hopefully, this hope and this dream still is living in you, because that's what's going to pull you. You got to know where you're going. That's how you can understand if you're in alignment, if you're congruent. If you know the goal is to, right, be at the ultimate health, right? Ultimate longevity. You can move your limbs, no aches, no pains, no diseases, none of those things. Then what are you doing now to get there? Right? And again, that's not acquiring and possessing. That's being and becoming. That's becoming someone better. That's becoming healthier. That's becoming someone that can build businesses better, whatever that is. But you got to be able to spend time with yourself in order to become better and to be a better person. Like, you have to spend time with yourself. And I don't think we give ourselves that time. I think we have to be intentional, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we have to be intentional about setting that time aside just for us to tap into ourselves. That's what will allow us the energy, the capacity to go after the person that we're called to be, the man or woman God designed you to be. You need energy to do that, right? You need you need to make sure that, like, your juices are always flowing for you to be able to go off and do that. But just understand, again, you get to this place of happiness not by acquiring. It's not you will be happy when. You'll be happy when you get the house. You'll be happy when you get the promotion. You'll be happy when you start the job. You'll be happy when your spouse stops, right, making you mad. I don't know, right? Like, you'll be happy whenever that happens. But happiness is an internal thing. Happiness is internal. Happiness is created from the inside out. So are you happy with you? First, that's the first thing you have to be happy with. The lady talked about the quality of our life is in the quality of our relationships. Quality of our life is in the quality of our relationships. The primary relationship is your relationship with yourself. It's your relationship with you. How do you feel about you? How well do you talk to yourself? How high do you think of yourself? Right? That's the first primary relationship, right? Scripturally, do unto others, golden rule, do unto others as you would do unto yourself. Well, that supposes you would do the right things unto yourself. Right? That's the primary thought. So in order to be and become better, we got to tap in with ourselves and say, first and foremost, right, I got to have a good relationship with myself. How do we have good relationships? We spend time. So that's why we got to spend time with ourselves, because then you'll have a better relationship with yourself. If you don't actively spend time with someone, it's hard to build a relationship. It's hard to build connection. If you're not actively praying and in the word, you're not going to have a stronger relationship with God. Like, these are just things that happen. If you're not actively spending time with yourself, tapping in with you, you're not going to have a better relationship with yourself. If you don't actively spend time with your spouse or your children or whoever it is, you're not going to have better relationship with them, right? Like, you have to spend time there. And so if the quality of our life is in the quality of our relationships, and our primary relationship that we have to focus on is us, then we have to spend time with us. That's the beginning part of how we become better, how we get to the life that we want to get to. Don't worry about the external things, only focus on the internal things. This quote here says, the human spirit needs to accomplish, to achieve, to triumph, to be happy. Yes, the human spirit needs to accomplish things and to achieve things for yourself. Keeping small promises you make to yourself. Keeping small promises that you make to yourself is how you build confidence. That's how you get to happiness. That's how you achieve. It's because you say, I'm going to do something, and you do it. And that track record you have builds confidence in you. When you have confidence, you can become better. You can become more because you have confidence. When you have less confidence, it's harder to become better, to do more things, right? To have energy to do it. So we got to start with ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. I can't drive this message home enough for you. Life, happiness, the secret to happiness, if it were a secret, is in being and becoming better, not just going off and acquiring things and getting things. So we have to take time to focus on ourselves. We have to take time to journal. We have to take time to be intentional about our own thoughts and our where we are in life. That is the thing we got to pay attention to. Those are the things we have to pay attention to. It says here in this action step for today, ask this critical thinking question. If you could be, have, and do anything you wanted, what would that look like? If you could be, have, and do anything you wanted, what would that look like? Write or type a one-page essay describing your answer. Forget any self-imposed or perceived limits. Write an essay as if anything were possible. It's literally just saying, write this down. If this is a vision, this is your vision. If you could be, have, do anything you want. Remember when we were kids and parents told us we could do anything we want? You can be anything you want to be. You still believe that? In your 30s, 40s, 50s, do you still believe you can do anything, be anything you want? Or you're like, I got this kid now. I got this job. I hate this thing. I can't do this. I got to stay in the city. I can't move. I can't leave the job. Like, do you still believe you can do anything? This is a test in that. See how long it takes you to, if you could be, have, do anything, write it down. Take 30 minutes with yourself today, right? Remember what I started this call off with. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So this is how you apply this knowledge. Okay, if happiness comes from being and becoming, well, let me start with figuring out where I'm going, so then I can be congruent with who I am and what I'm doing. So let me take 30 minutes, let me take 45 minutes and write out what my life would look like if I could be, have, and do anything I wanted. Apply that, ladies and gentlemen. See what happens in your life if you actually do that. If this weekend, if later today, you sit down and you actually just write it all out. Then see how congruent are you to getting there? What steps do you need to take? But just know it's going to be an internal thing, not an external thing. It's going to be something that comes from within you. All right, because that's how we grow. That's how we grow. We have we have nothing that we can do with our external world. There's no control over that. The two things you can control, ladies and gentlemen, your actions and your attitude. That's it. Your actions, what you actually choose to do every day. You have control over that. No one controls your actions. No one makes you do something. You're not a robot, right? Like, you control your actions and you control your attitude. You control your disposition, your thoughts, your emotions. You control those two things. That's all you control. But how well are you at controlling them? How good are you at controlling your actions and your emotions and your thoughts, right? That's the work. That's the work of how we become better and get to the life that we want to. Because it's too crowded down here at the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get to the top of this thing. You deserve to get to the top of your life. You deserve to get to all the heights, see everything that you want to see, all the things you've been praying for, all the things you've been asking God for. You deserve to see those things. He placed that vision in your mind. He placed those thoughts in your mind. Now you got to do the work to go after it and get it. It comes with stuff like this, taking these messages in and really applying it in your life. I love you guys. I want y'all to win. I really do. Y'all deserve it. Enjoy your weekend. Go out, do something that scares you, do something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Nothing grows in our comfort zone. Nothing good happens in our comfort zone. Do something that scares you. Give yourself some butterflies this weekend. Give yourself a little bit of jitters. Take some courage to go do something. Go talk to somebody. Put yourself in a position to live life to the fullest.